In this tutorial, we explore the DynamicPDF API's public collection on Postman. Postman is a set of tools for building, testing, and using APIs. It also has a public API network you can use to discover APIs you wish to incorporate into your applications. Here at DynamicPDF, we created a workspace and collection you can use for testing your own applications using the DynamicPDF API. Before beginning, we assume you're familiar with using Postman. If you're not, there are many tutorials online you can reference. And if you've never used Postman before, you should start. It's arguably the de facto tool for building and testing APIs. DynamicPDF API has a public collection and environment you can access via the Postman public API network. We have templates for all 6 endpoints and an environment you can reference for easy configuration specific to your organization. The DynamicPDF API consists of 6 endpoints: the dlex-layout endpoint, image info endpoint, PDF info endpoint, PDF text endpoint, PDF XMP endpoint, and the PDF endpoint. Okay, before continuing, we need to download the resources for this tutorial. Log in to the DynamicPDF API portal. Oh, and if you don't have an account, you can sign up for one free on our website. You can sign up using your Google or Microsoft account, or you can create a local account. But here I assume you already have an account, so let's log into the portal. After logging into the DynamicPDF API, you're first taken to the DynamicPDF dashboard. The dashboard is where you work with your Cloud API account. Navigate to the File Manager, and then select Add Samples to open the Add Sample dialog. Be sure to spend some time familiarizing yourself with the available samples, as there are sample applications for all of the DynamicPDF API's major features. Check the Create a PDF sample. Now check the Extract text sample. Oh yeah, we need image information, so check the Get Image Information sample. Now check the Get PDF Information and Get PDF XMP metadata samples. Okay, let's see, we need one more for the PDF. Let's use the Convert HTML to PDF sample. So check it. Now click Add to add the samples. From the Converting folder, download Instructions.json and Products.html. Download all 3 files in the Creating PDF dlex folder. And let's see, download fw4.pdf from the Extract Text folder. Download the DynamicPDF logo from the Get Image Info folder. And let's see. Okay, the remaining 2 folders use the PDF in the Extract Text folder, which we already downloaded. So we don't need to download anything from either of them. After downloading, I assume the resources were all added to the following temp folder. Now let's get the Postman workspace. Navigate to the DynamicPDF API documentation. Select User's Guide, and then API. Let's see, we're just looking for a Run in Postman button. So let's go to dlex-layout endpoint. And if we scroll down, we see that button. Well, let's click it. Click the Run in Postman button, and it takes us to Postman. It asks us if we want to simply view the collection, import a copy, or fork the collection. Here I choose Fork Collection to fork the collection so that I can work with it without impacting the original. Okay, Postman wants me to log in, so let's log in. And I'm going to change the fork label to something more meaningful. Here I just name it Postman Fork. Now click Fork Collection. After the collection is forked, we can work with it in Postman. Click Environments, then DynamicPDF Public Environment. You can set environment variables in Postman to make it easier to work with the different endpoints. It already has one environment variable for the URL API, which we don't need to change. But notice it also has one variable we need to change, the API key. That's the API key you have for the application. Of course, the variable name here is authorization, but we know it's the API key. Return to the portal and select API keys. Copy the API key to your clipboard. Return to Postman and post the key in the current value. Persist, and then save the modified environment. Go to Collections and select the Image Info template. The Image Info endpoint takes an image and returns the image's information as JSON. Hover over the API URL and notice the value is not set. That's because we didn't choose the environment for the endpoints. Okay, so look over to the upper right. Change the no environment value to DynamicPDF API environment. Now, hover over the API URL and you see it resolves the value. Click the Headers tab and you see the authorization header. Hover over it and you see its value is also resolved. Now select Body and note it expects a binary file as an upload. Click Select File and upload the Creating PDF dlex-layout PNG file we downloaded earlier. Return to Headers and change the content type to reflect the PNG. Return to Body. Now click Send. And the Image Info endpoint makes the request and returns the image information as a JSON document. Note that the Image Info endpoint can take the following image types. Okay, now let's get a PDF's info. Open the PDF info template. The PDF endpoint takes a PDF and returns the PDF's information as JSON. Click Headers and note that the variables resolve, as we've already set the environment for the endpoints. Select Body and add a file from our local file system. We're going to add fw4.pdf. So go ahead and add it. Now click Send. And the PDF info endpoint sends the request and returns the PDF's information as a JSON document. Now select the PDF text endpoint. The PDF text endpoint takes a PDF document and returns the text as JSON. Like we did with the last endpoint, let's add the file fw4.pdf. So go ahead and add it. Click Send, and the endpoint returns the PDF's text as a JSON document. Now note, this endpoint can also take a start page and a page count as query parameter. Let's change the request to only return the text from the second page of the PDF. Select Params and add the start page parameter and assign it a value of 2. Now create the page count parameter and assign it a value of 1. So from the multi-page PDF, it starts at page 2 and selects one page. Click Send and the PDF endpoint makes the request and returns only the PDF's second page. Now select the PDF XMP endpoint. The PDF XMP endpoint takes a PDF and returns the PDF's XMP metadata as XML. As with the last two endpoints, go ahead and add the file fw4.pdf. Click Send, and the endpoint returns the PDF's XMP metadata as an XML document. Now let's use the dlex-layout endpoint. The dlex-layout endpoint takes a dlex document and associated layout data. Recall that a dlex document is a template created using DynamicPDF Designer. A dlex template specifies the processing instructions to create a PDF document. The JSON data is the data used to create the report. For example, the following is a dlex template and its associated JSON data. Select Body and let's add the layout data. Add the Creating PDF dlex-layout JSON file. Now add the associated dlex file from our file system. One thing to notice is the dlex file has an image associated with it. If we looked in the dlex file, as we do here, we would see that's a relative path to that image. So we need to add the image as a resource here because we're getting the dlex file from our local file system. So go ahead and add it. Click Send, and the dlex file combined with the JSON data creates the PDF report. It returns it as binary. Of course, Postman knows the return type, so it renders the binary as a PDF. Now, with the dlex-layout endpoint, what you would probably do in a real-world situation is your dlex file, the layout or the instructions of how to create the PDF, would reside in cloud storage. But the JSON data, or your organization's data, which dynamically renders that dlex file, well, that data you would want on your local file system or somewhere like there. You wouldn't want it in a public location. To do this, what we need to do is modify the parameter in the endpoint to get the dlex file from cloud storage. So go ahead and delete the two resource keys. We're not going to need the image file because we're going to get the dlex from cloud storage. And the image, as we've already shown, is a relative path. So it's going to resolve that image in cloud storage. Okay, now because the dlex file will come from cloud storage, we create a dlex path parameter as a text parameter. Now we need to get that relative path. Return to the portal and go to the file manager. Navigate to the Creating PDF dlex layout folder and right-click the Creating PDF dlex layout file. Select Copy File Path to copy the path to your clipboard. Return to Postman and paste the path. Click Send, and the endpoint generates the PDF report. Now let's use the PDF endpoint. Although the PDF endpoint can be used for many different types of processing, let's use it to convert HTML to a PDF. Click Body, then add the file instructions.json. An instructions.json contains the instructions used to create a PDF by the PDF endpoint. Open the instructions.json and notice the instructions combine three HTML inputs into a combined PDF. The first two produce an interim PDF document from the HTML fragments. The third input uses the products.html file to create an interim PDF. The instructions then merge all three interim PDFs into a combined PDF. Okay, add products.html as a resource. Now click Send, and the PDF is generated. Note that each page contains the HTML from the input in the instructions.json. And that's the DynamicPDF API's Postman collection. So the next time you're using the DynamicPDF API in your development efforts, consider testing first using our Postman collection. As this tutorial illustrated, Postman greatly shortens your development time by allowing you to test your API calls before you code. The easiest way to access the Postman collection is by clicking one of the many Run-in Postman buttons throughout our documentation. I'm James, Developer Evangelist at DynamicPDF, reminding you, when you think PDF, think DynamicPDF API. See you next time.